Sometimes life can get a little bit crazy. Living day to day with my baby.
And our two boys and two girls.
But that's a day in the world with the McClendon.
We're out there on the grind. Family life, God first. Marriage 24/7.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm David with Marriage 247 Splash! Hey, I'm here with my boy Craig. Hey, we just chopping it up. You know, we've been discussing some stuff. And, you know, I had a concept earlier this year. And my concept was called the exchange. You know, iron sharpening iron. Everybody counts. You know, because usually some people think that their voice doesn't count. Their opinion doesn't count. What they have to say doesn't count. So I had a vision of some brothers kicking it, you know, and just kicking it at the table of life, discussing the wisdom and knowledge extracted from their life's journey. So, hey, that's what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? Right. So Craig is here with us. You know, we're here at our spring pop-up event here in P-Town at Picture That Studio. And, you know, we got some great stuff happening here. We have vendors here. We got food here. Of course, a shameless plug. We got Dee Dee's here. You know what I'm saying? We got the Jazzy D collection. But, you know, we just want to talk about life. You know, we're both married.
Right.
And one thing about marriage that I've discovered is that, you know, at some point in time, everybody goes through the same thing.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? Speak on that for me, Craig.
You know,
Tell me a little bit about who you are.
Yeah, my name is Craig. You know, I grew up in Inglewood, California, City of Champions, you know. Former home of the Lakers, but now we got the Rams and the Chargers and the Clippers are knocking on the door.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so growing up in the city, you know, in the black community, you know, as a little boy growing up in a big family, you know, I saw all kinds of expressions of marriage.
Right,
know.
right.
Some with the older people, you know, they stayed together.
Right.
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 And they had less.
Yes.
Smaller homes.
Smaller homes.
Older cars.
Older cars, right.
Lower paying jobs.
Yep.
But they seem to stay together.
They stayed together. What was it about that?
Well, you know what I'm saying? And they stayed together longer and stronger and was a lot to a lot of people.
Right.
You know, it's like pillars of the community, pillars of the family. And you know, throughout my own personal marriage, I asked myself, talked to my wife, right? What was it? You know,
yeah.
we have more, you know, technology.
Right, right.
Earning ability.
Earning ability.
You know,
that's huge.
More access to opportunity.
Right.
You know, education.
Yep.
You know,
Craig is an educator.
Yes. But why is there so much part-time and short-time commitment with our generation that the previous generation stuck together?
Right.
You know, I always ask that question for
Me too.
myself. You know,
Yeah,
because you have parents, you know,
Yeah.
pillars in the family, pillars in the community.
Right.
Your wife, strong family. You know,
Right, right.
and it's just like, what was it? I mean, we even have technology.
Right.
You know,
Right.
but for whatever reason,
It's still not enough.
people don't stay together.
No,
You know?
no.
And even in the music, you know,
Right,
we
right.
had the Crooners. Let's stay together.
Right,
You know
right.
what I'm saying? Let's stay together.
It was
you
a
know?
thing. It was a thing.
Good or bad,
Right.
happy or sad.
Right,
You feel
right,
me?
right, right.
Where's that song today, brother?
It's in, what do you call that?
Right, you know, and so it's just like, if people are living that,
Yeah.
people are singing about that,
Right.
people end up doing it.
That's the culture.
You see what the part of the culture.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's been a shift in our culture,
Right,
you know, where the values have changed.
right,
And people have more access to money,
right.
more access to education and technology, but it just seems like there's been a shift in the values.
I think some of that is like the shift in the God consciousness.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm
Absolutely.
saying? It's the God consciousness, because like back in the day when that music was being created. It was created from a source of unity.
And wholeness.
Yes, yeah, and that's what came out. That's what was propagated. You know what I'm saying? That's what was we were about. You know what I'm saying? Even through the bad times. You know what I'm saying? In the good times, sometimes you had bad times. You know what I'm saying? But the bad times never equated to the D word. Divorce.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? My parents, my dad has gone on to be with the Lord, but that's all I saw was togetherness. As a child, you can sense when things may not be like
All the way right. Yeah.
but it never was a point where
So
it's over. You make that commitment. You know what I'm
I
saying?
can say folks didn't fight.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that's part of the growth process, though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna fight. You're gonna have disagreements.
Yes.
But at the end of the day,
Stay together.
stay together. You know what I'm saying? So I'm with you on that. We're in a different time right now.
Different time.
It's a different element, a different spirit.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And people are not buying into the God consciousness of where we were as baby boomers. You know what I'm saying? They're not at that space. We got vendors here, so don't even trip off that. So like where we are, people, it's not a God consciousness, it's God's consciousness.
Or I'm God.
I'm God.
Right.
Right.
In other words, instead of the creator being at the center, I'm in the center.
I'm in the center. I
You know
am
what
the
I'm
center.
saying? And it's like the common denominator is my happiness at all costs.
Right,
Even
right.
if it costs somebody else.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm thinking like, how can you move forward unless you agree? That's what the word says.
Right.
So my thing is, no matter what the conflict, no matter what the contention, there's got to be someone in that situation that says, hey, look, let's take it down.
Right.
I know you upset.
Right.
I'm upset.
Right.
But we're not going to be upset always.
Right.
So those decisions we make in our anger, right?
Yeah.
Well, when we're not angry no more, that decision reflect how we don't even feel no more.
Right.
You feel what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I kind of trip off that short-term gratification versus that long-term.
The long term.
You know what I'm saying?
Right, because that moment could be a life decision that you don't want to live by.
Exactly. I'll be held to.
Be held to. So, divorce is not optional for me.
Not me.
It's not optional for Craig. But for some people, it's an option because, what's your patterns in life? Do you commit and then when things get difficult, you jump ship? Because, in reality, whatever that situation is, it's going to follow you to the next
Wherever you
relationship.
go.
You at. Right. So, let's talk about prenups. You know what I'm saying? What's that about?
I can't speak on it thoroughly with
Yeah.
great depth
Yeah,
because
okay.
that whole concept is so far removed,
Right.
But I guess I got married young,
Right.
and so I married the wife of my youth.
Okay.
And so we
The word
talks about that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so whatever it is we have, we built it together.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So some type of pre, meaning before,
Right.
right? Prenuptial, I'm like, I had just as much as she had, more or less,
Right.
and vice versa, before we committed to one another.
Right.
So there's really nothing
Nothing to pre
that
about.
I'm holding on to. There's no pre.
There's no pre.
You know what I'm saying?
It's so sweet.
Right. So it would just be me kind of being an outsider,
Right.
speaking on the outside, maybe to someone who has accumulated great wealth
Right.
prior to being married or prior to having a committed relationship.
Right.
So it doesn't reflect my experience.
Right.
But that doesn't mean it's not a significant phenomenon.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So when you do something like that, when people do something like that, are they already setting the seed for failure?
Perhaps.
You know, what if?
I think it's easier said than done.
Right.
You know, because if you got a whole lot and you are in love and feel like you want to be committed to this one person and share your lives together,
Right.
but then if it don't go right, you don't want that person to be entitled to what they didn't accumulate, to what they didn't earn.
Right.
So it's kind of like you're going into an agreement rather than a commitment.
That's it.
You see what I'm saying?
That's it.
And so when the rains come and the winds blow
Blow.
against the house,
Right.
is it the agreement that's gonna withstand,
Right.
or the commitment?
For the commitment.
See what I'm saying?
Right. We came to the table, we came to the court with this is my basketball.
Right.
You got your basketball. Instead of us putting our stuff together, it's like I don't want to play no more. So I want to take back what I brought to the table.
That the other person partook of
That the other person partook of.
and contributed.
Yes.
Because I know a lot of the sisters kind of feel like, well, what about all the meals?
Right.
What about all them dirty clothes?
Right.
What about that clean house?
Yeah.
What about all that homework with the kids?
Right.
What about those dinner parties I hosted to you and made you look good?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Right. That's not tangible for that other person.
Yeah, but it is of some value.
It very much is.
You see?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, how do you quantify the tangible
Yeah.
and the intangible?
Right.
It seems like the intangible doesn't have a price tag to agree to. Like, in other words, I've never heard of a prenuptial agreement where somebody said, you know, if we don't stay together, I'm gonna need you to reimburse me for all those hours of service. Have you ever heard of that?
Never heard of that one.
I mean, don't we pay people to clean our house?
That's true.
Cook our meals,
Right.
wash our clothes,
Wash our
fix
clothes.
our car,
Yeah.
type up a document.
Right.
There's a $1 billion printer service industry, I think, right?
You very yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm saying,
yeah.
why, if a prenuptial agreement is legitimate
Right.
based on wealth
Wealth.
and hard
What
assets,
about that?
what about those other intangible things that in the public sphere, people are paying real money for?
Right.
Speak on that.
You know what, man? We ain't thinking about that because that's supposed to come with the program.
But I'm saying, why isn't that
right.
a negotiating chip like the dough
Because
or the
it,
property?
because
Or
it
the-
comes with the program. It's something that's expected.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
But
it's not of as value. It's not of value to that other person because what is of value is that dollar bill.
Right,
That's
because you can touch it,
You can
smell
touch
it,
it,
you
smell
know,
it, you know.
spend it, save
Right.
it, right?
But that's a good point. What I'm saying is that should be a consideration.
How do we quantify those intangible acts monetarily? Because like I said,
Right.
you know, there are significant industries
That-
where
They
services are
Right.
rendered
Right.
for payment.
For payment.
Cooking, cleaning,
Right,
right?
right.
Wealthy people have personal chefs,
Right.
and they're making top dollar.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think, you know, big ballers are washing their own clothes,
Not at all.
cleaning their own house, scrubbing their own toilet.
Not at all.
But somebody is rendering a fee for that service. You
Right.
feel me?
Exactly.
Across the board.
Across the board.
Right, and so if there is a situation where a spouse in a home is rendering those services under the idea that this is my home, these people are my family,
Right.
I'm serving them, right?
Right.
How are those acts of service recouped in the event that the parties part ways?
You put a price tag on it. You,
Okay, but I'm saying, because we're talking about prenuptial.
Prenup, right, that's true.
Right, so I'm saying that you come to the table saying, hey,
In
before I
event
met
of
you, I
that-
had this.
Right.
Now I'm letting you play with my toys
Right.
while we together.
While we together.
But I'm no longer happy. I'm taking my
Take that stuff.
basketball away
Right.
from the court.
Right.
So I'm saying people agree and sign Some
Right.
people don't agree and don't
And
sign.
don't sign, right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right, right.
And so all I'm trying to say is, where is the leverage for the intangible?
Right. It's not a consideration, but the leverage should be, because somebody may see this and be like, I need to add this to the prenup. You know, what's the value of, washing of the clothes?
Right.
What's the value of rubbing your back when it's, you're not feeling well? What's the value of you taking care of the children,
Listening to you,
listening to you?
encouraging you.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Motivating you.
Right. We're not encouraging the
Either
prenup.
way.
You know
Either
what I'm
way.
saying? You know what I'm saying?
We're just talking
We're
it
just
up.
talking.
Yeah.
We're chopping it up because, it needs to be considered because
Mm-hmm.
people have a thought process along these lines
Right.
and they consider one thing of value, but the other person who has rendered those services, it's like, well, that's value to me too.
And valuable to the person that receives it.
Exactly. But if you don't look, that person don't see that, then, that's like selfishness, right?
That's how it's perceived.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
my thing is this.
Yes.
If we gonna come together and we not gonna be formal and what's mine is yours and yours is mine,
Right.
and that's how we rolling,
Right.
well then roll.
Let's roll.
right?
Let's roll with
But
it.
if you come into the situation saying this is mine before I knew you,
Right.
well guess what? The services that haven't been rendered
Right.
were mine before I
Exactly.
served.
Right, right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's almost like I'm not trying to be, the spokesperson for the chick club.
Right,
I'm
right.
really not. You
Right,
know what I'm
right.
saying? But at the same time, I'm saying men and women have to look at the heart.
Yeah.
What's the heart of the matter?
Right.
The heart of the matter is, if you love me, why are you treating me conditionally?
Right, right.
You see what I'm saying?
Conditionally, did you
Conditional.
hear that?
Right. Because clearly a prenuptial agreement
Right.
are a state of conditions.
Right, right.
Right?
Right.
So the person signing, what are their conditions?
Right. Because, you say, I love you unconditionally. But obviously, if you're going into the situation, you got conditions, you got mandates.
Right.
You got things that you say, if this goes too far, the game is over.
Now let's flip it though.
Right.
Because some women are of great means.
Yeah.
So it's not just like a brother thing.
Exactly.
You feel me?
Not at all.
And some brothers are of great means, right?
Right.
And they feel that it would be unwise, lacking scruples, not to protect
Right,
their
what they got,
investments
what they
or
got.
their holdings.
Right,
You see what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
And guess what? There's a whole $1 billion industry on that called insurance. And what are they offering? They're offering indemnity
Right.
to replace the value of that which was lost or stolen.
Mhm.
See what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so people come into these unconditional arrangements per se,
Right.
but maybe somebody has an agenda, and
Right.
because there's nothing in writing, now I got you, and your stuff.
Right.
So how do we speak to the dark side of the force? You see? I mean, because
Right. It's there.
It's there.
It's
Right.
there. Yeah, I think that's that's something you really got to consider as well, because you have that aspect, man, where people walk into that situations and they are looking, they're just looking for something. You know what I'm saying? It's creeping.
Well, what's the word say about the enemy is always searching for someone to devour?
Yeah, he's searching for someone to devour.
And that's in people's hearts.
Yeah.
And so is it selfish to
Right.
protect what you have in
Well,
light of potential abuse?
right. But I understand. But if you're going into this situation and you have sought, for the Most High's direction on this,
Right.
then you are believing based on your previous request unto Him.
True.
And what He has delivered to you, and you deemed it to be something that came from Him, then what makes you doubt the what He's given to you on this round.
Now, I believe the Most High with all my heart.
Right.
Having said that,
Yeah.
we can't control the heart of another person.
Things change. People change.
People step in and out of the desire to please the Lord.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because you have situations where people say they love the Lord,
Mm.
right? But then the Lord tells us through His Son, do unto others as unto me.
Right. Right.
So the way we treat each other is how we treat the Most High. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So if I'm treating you dirty,
Right.
who am I treating dirty?
The Most High.
If I'm serving you, meeting your needs, protecting you,
Right.
advocating for you, who am I also rendering that to?
The Most High.
Right. And so on that day, right, because you talked about a God consciousness.
God consciousness.
See what I'm saying?
Right.
So if I'm living my life with this thought at the back of the head, I gotta meet my maker one day.
Right.
Or I gotta stand before my creator and give an account for all my deeds.
Right.
And regardless of how inaccurate my accounting is,
Right.
his ain't flawed.
Perfect.
He knows, right?
Right.
Regardless of what we
We can't
choose
pull
to
the wool
remember.
over His eye.
Right. Amnesia.
Yeah.
Right. You feel me?
Spiritual amnesia.
Right. And so my thing is, if you are like ourselves, living your life in the back of your head, we're like, I ain't doing it.
Right.
And why? Because I don't want to deal with the consequences
Right.
of the Lord. You
Right,
see what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
So you
right.
choose righteousness
Right.
even when you don't want to.
Right.
It's like a child. I really don't want to clean my room, but I don't want that strap.
Right.
Or I don't want to lose my game.
Right.
You see what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
So
right.
now I'm motivated by the loss.
Right.
I'm
right.
motivated by the consequences.
Right.
See what I'm
What
saying?
I don't want to lose.
Right. But
Yeah.
that's kind of like immaturity.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I'm not choosing righteousness because it's right.
Right.
I'm choosing
The
because I don't
condition.
want that.
The condition.
You see what I'm saying? So
Right.
speak on that.
Yeah, man. Because in reality, it shows you where your heart is at.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
I mean,
sir.
where's your heart? If you really love me, you know what I'm saying? If you really love the Most High, then, is His word going to have the final authority in what you are in the midst of? You know what I'm saying? So what we're really saying is that if I told, hey, when the trash can gets full, I don't want to have to tell you to empty the trash.
I'm talking about the kids, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And I don't want this to be the last time that I tell you. Okay. But 5 times, I'm telling you.
And they putting trash in there too.
Right.
Okay.
Right. They put, and they're walking away with it
Right.
overflowing, just like I'm seeing that it's overflowing.
With
So-
the expectation that this is my job.
Right. Knowing this is my
And
job.
I'm supposed to be holding this down.
Right.
Okay, go ahead.
Right. So, but then what it really boils down to is that I'm extending, as a parent, that grace
And space.
and space. You know what I'm saying? So I'm extending that. But in the person that knows to do that, it has to be in their mind that my dad might flip out. You know what I'm saying? My mom might flip out.
Hey,
Consequence. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So in reality, I'm willing to play that. Knowing that what may happen, I'm still willing to play that card, push it. You know what I'm saying?
And for what?
For what?
Some trash.
Some trash. So I guess when it boils down to it, it's like I don't want to be in a situation where I'm tempting the Most High. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to tempt Him in that area. That's why I try in every aspect to make sure that I'm doing it from a heart position and not just doing it or not doing it,
Right.
because I know that, what we're talking about right here is like, man, I can do it, but my heart may not be right, but I'm just gonna do it.
Right.
But what's the result of that? You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, a couple things come to my mind. You know, let your yes be yes
Mm.
and your no be no.
Right.
Anything else is of the evil one.
Mm.
You feel me?
Right.
So here's the second thing that comes to mind is a parable of a man that had two sons.
Mhm.
He asked the first son to execute a task. He told him, no, I refuse to do it.
Right.
He asked the second son, he said, absolutely I will.
Mhm.
The second son didn't keep his word and didn't do it. But the first son who said he would not did. Who was the more righteous one?
Mm.
The one
The
that
one
did.
that-
You
exactly.
see what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, but his heart attitude wasn't all the way gravy, was
Right,
it?
right,
Okay?
right.
And so my thing is like we all flawed, right?
Right. That's good.
The priority is to have the joyful heart.
Right. That's what.
But who wants something begrudgingly?
Right.
You ask me for something,
Right.
but I say, here, man.
Right.
That don't feel right.
Not at all.
But it's still in your possession, though.
I got it.
You see what I'm saying?
I got it. Right.
But it didn't feel right.
It didn't feel.
It
Right.
wasn't done joyfully.
Right.
It's my understanding that the Lord, you know, loves it.
He loves it joyful.
You see
Cheerful,
what I'm
cheerful.
saying? Cheerful.
Yeah.
Cheerful giving,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And so my thing, we should be doing things as unto the Lord,
Loves unto the Lord.
but we don't.
Right.
Okay? But then in this non-preferred default, we left with do it or don't, regardless of the heart attitude.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right. So we want.
So because I can't be like, I gotta keep it real. I didn't want to do it.
Right.
Okay, so it didn't get done. It didn't get done,
Done.
and now we all lose.
Right.
In other words, trash falling over the can.
Right.
Right? Isn't this our kitchen?
Right.
Isn't this our can?
Right.
Aren't we all contributing to the waste?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
But it's just your responsibility
Right.
to take care of it.
But let's transfer it back to self. As the father and the husband, what if you have a bad heart attitude in the work environment that leads to your termination?
Right.
Does that have an immediate impact on what your family eats?
The whole situation.
The degree and the capacity of how much lights, gas, and water you have?
Right.
Where you live?
Right.
Where you go determined by how much fuel you have in your car.
Exactly.
Direct result
Direct.
of your heart attitude and your source or place of employment.
There you go.
Right. So why does this person have the liberty to act that way, but then this person doesn't?
Mm-hmm.
And not only do you not have the liberty to act that way and conduct yourself in that way, you've got to endure and suffer along with their bad heart attitude.
Wow.
So you're losing once, twice, 3 times a later. You feel me?
I love you.
You know what I'm saying? But that's real talk, though.
Man, that's real talk. But
That's
people don't. People don't want real talk.
They don't.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, some might.
So I can't say. I apologize. I don't want to put everybody in the same boat. But the majority of people don't want real talk, and those that are talking what they think is real talk is talking fluff.
Right.
Yeah. So hey, we're gonna be right back. You know what I'm saying? I just wanted to talk a little bit more about some other things. We're gonna be right back at you. Marriage 247.
Like, subscribe, and turn on those notifications.